Welcome back to another video. Today is January 28th, 6:16 a.m. Eastern. My name is James, and let's take a look and see what's going on. So, last week I think I said, the market's due for a pullback. I probably said it every single day. I still think it's due for a pullback. Looking quickly at the oscillator first, we're still at a 66. 40 is overbought, and we're hanging out well above that. We can't seem to work it off because the market is too strong. It just seems to keep getting more and more buying, right? Could be good, could be bad, I guess, because all of a sudden some selling could show up where the market's not ready for it for whatever reason, and then we really fall. Hoping that doesn't happen. You can see here the futures are red today, but they were red last week. And like I said, what I was hoping for, which actually did happen, was that even if we had a red index, there would be underlying strength in some of these stocks, and that's kind of what we saw, although the indexes ended up going green over time anyway. So a lot of strength in the market, it seems like. So here, looking quickly at the Dow and the S&P, there's the Dow. The S&P is the one that is really telling us what's going on, though. We are back over that line that held us up until the big drop, and we worked our way back over it now, and then we've tested it a little bit here even, and have been able to kind of start pulling away from it. But now this morning the futures are red, so we might have to go up and down, sideways in this. We might even come back and test that line again, which I think is fine. We should be prepared for that kind of pullback. Being so overbought in the oscillator, that kind of indicates this market should pull back some, but hopefully this line is what's going to hold it up now, and we're not going to go any lower than that. Again, we've got to wait and see what the market gives us. NASDAQ is the same. I don't have, I do have a line there, but it's a little lower than the S&P's line. That line is based on these points back here. And I think for the NASDAQ, anyway, those are more significant support areas than me trying to squeeze it up higher, because that's what the S&P has. Looking at my list for last week, Square is just ridiculously strong. So it initially came out of the falling wedge, worked its way up, created another ascending triangle, broke out from that, then pulled back and held that line, which was the top of the ascending triangle, then created that little pennant, broke out from that. And the 2 days out of that have been ridiculous. Look at the strength. Opens on the bottom of the bar, closes at the top, is like exactly what you want to see for a breakout. It is ridiculously strong. I ended up buying down here. I didn't get it out of this. I actually got stopped out. I attempted to get in, but I got stopped out of it, and then I waited. I got in on this that day right there. My stop is still down there. That's just how I trade. I can't be monkeying around up here figuring out where I might set a stop and all that stuff. I like to use very clear technical points in a daily chart. So I know my one technical point is right there where it broke out. I could probably put a stop there, but that consolidation was so soon after it broke out of the ascending triangle, I'll just keep it down here, and this is my break-even point. So right now I'm sitting at break-even for my stop, and it's super strong. I mean, I know that if anything, it's going to go sideways from here, so I'm not that concerned about it coming back to my stop. So I'll just wait and see what Square does from here. I'm sure if anything, it'll start going sideways, unless we get hit with a huge market news or something. So it should go sideways, create another pattern, and then begin to climb again. That's really strong. Square is super strong right now. ABMD, I did get into it on this day, even though the volume was low when I got in, but ended up being pretty strong at the end of the day. It was about 140% of its average volume. So I bought some. The next day was a doji or spinning top, which is okay as long as it holds above that 135 line. but I would eventually want to see it go. And now it might sit there because its earnings are coming out January 31st. So now it might sit there until the morning of the 31st. If those earnings are good, you get enough momentum to push higher, or you tank based on whatever comes out with the earnings. I'd like to see, obviously, now that I'm in it, at least today, tomorrow, the next day, give me some kind of upside, anticipation towards those earnings, even if they're bad. I'd be out before the earnings anyway, and then I might react after the earnings come out if it's good. I don't think I'd do anything if it's bad. I would just be done with it. Canopy Growth was watching this for a little while, and it got upgraded, and it took off. I got into it, where was it, about 46.72, I think. And I'll show you on the 5-minute what I was looking at. Back here, pre-market it had this. And so I'm like, that's pretty good. Consolidation, there's definitely a trend line across the top there. Then when the market opened, it started to climb over that, and I grabbed it. And then it turned over on me, but my stop was $1.50 below where I got in, so I was down here someplace in my stop. So it dipped down. I just held the stop. It worked its way higher. And now I'm sitting in it with that move. I got most of that move, so that's pretty good. Again, really big volume. That was huge volume. An open towards the low of the bar, a close towards the high of the bar. Very, very strong. So I'll just be holding that for now. My stop is at the break-even point. We'll see what it does. And then data, commander data, it took off. It just went. The volume was pretty good. When I got in it, it was well over 150%, which is kind of where I want to be. At least 150% of its volume increase for the day. Or I want the stock to have at least 150% of its average 21-day volume. That's what I look for. And I have a tool that is something that we created. My wife and I created it, which I can just put in the average numbers and it'll tell me immediately at that moment, does it have 150% of its average volume? I might show that to you sometime. We'll see. But it's proprietary. It's something that we created ourselves. But yeah, and I got in someplace towards the line. I try to get in as close to the line as I can, and it moved up really well. The volume is pretty good. So again, my stop is moved to break even, and we'll just see what that does. Align, I got out of, so on Friday it was pretty interesting. I had 2 stocks, I think, going in. I had Square and I had 3. Square, ABMD, and Align. And then I started to see Canopy Growth move, and I started to see data move, and I was like, I got to do something else because I want a piece of these. So I sold Align, which then allowed me to buy Canopy Growth and allowed me to buy data. And so I don't have Align anymore, even though it looked pretty good. It was up like $6 or something through the day, $5 or $6 by the end of the day. But its earnings are like tomorrow after the close. So that's why I got rid of Align. I was like, I'm not going to get much out of it. So I took that out. It still looks good. The earnings are going to come out, I think, after the close tomorrow. So if you're in it, you can hold, just have a stop that's about break even on it right now and see what you get. I would not be in it through earnings. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to, grab a pop that may or may not happen. Paycom did not have much volume, but it did move pretty good. I'm not in it, but the price is moving pretty good. Shaler, don't know how to pronounce it. Had volume, but couldn't get out of this pattern. It might go still, could just continue sideways. I'm keeping that line here. Even though the price dipped, it did close back in, so it obeyed that line still. But the close is what matters. So yeah. It could still go. Just give it time. If you're in it, just hold the stops right close to the line. So keep a stop that's reasonable. I usually use $1 or $1.50 on a stock that's about less than $100 anyway. So yeah, it could have a chance to go. Mongo, I'm kind of amazed at this thing because it was nailed so bad on the Amazon news, and then it just kind of sat down there, and I thought it was going to just tank out of that pattern, but it rebounded, and now it's almost to the line. So let's see here. Right now, it's about 88.70, I would say 88.70 for a breakout. If it goes on volume, give it a try. It looks like it's going to rebound here, but then watch out for its earnings. I'm not sure when they are, but you can find that somewhere online. PXD, I don't know what happened to oil. I haven't checked, but I think it's heading down. But yeah, it's got a little flag channel pattern kind of forming. I don't think it's on the verge of breaking out or anything, but it's something to keep an eye on. Palo Alto, if you did buy it out of here, you're doing quite well. My stop would probably still be break even. You might be able to stick one up here, but I like to give these stocks lots of room, so you might not. It's just what I would do. My other list, Tandem, which I took out, I was in it and got stopped out of it. If you got in from here, you look really good. Again, from where it is right now, my stop would probably be break even still. And then I might put it there if it can break above that point with good price movement and volume. And then Netflix is, again, we got to give that thing lots of time, but I would keep an eye on it. It's probably going to form some kind of an ascending triangle with a breakout up there, but that's going to take quite a while. Quite a number of weeks, probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, I would say, but we'll just keep an eye on that. So that's it. Haven't added anything new because I've got, Square, Biomed, Canopy Growth, and Data that I got to worry about. So I'll probably do a larger review, just from my end, maybe tonight, where I'll review all of my lists. Here's a bunch of my lists where I've got stocks in there that I go through, and then there might be some new ones, or maybe not. Might not be able to find any because of the way some of these things are broken out already. Might take more time to find new ones. So we'll see. But yeah, the next video should be tomorrow morning. And I'll see you next time.